What's going on, Wolfpack Nation? Welcome to the 13th episode of Tuffy Talk here with my man Macon Adams and Lade Smith here. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Please make sure, if you haven't already, please make sure to subscribe to us. Follow us on Twitter at Tuffy Talk Now. Bang. And please make sure too to like this video and also check out our other content. So on today's episode, we'll be actually interviewing Deshaywn Middleton, former NC State football player. And then also too,
Right.
we'll be giving an immediate reaction to the news about Hubert Davis getting hired at UNC.
Woo!
Yeah, and then we'll also too be doing kind of a quick run through of each ACC football coach, and we'll do a little segment called Extend or Descend. So with that being said, let's go on and get this thing started. All right, Wolfpack Nation, thank you so much again for tuning in. Please make sure, if you haven't already, subscribe to us by hitting the button in the bottom right-hand corner. And please follow us at Tuffy Talk Now and like this video and check out other content. So with that being said, we'll go and jump right in. So immediate news about Hubert Davis getting hired at UNC. So Macon, give it to me, man. Go.
I'm just going to give a round of applause
Yes.
to Carolina. Outstanding hire.
For State fans.
For State fans and Duke fans. I mean, it's and you could argue Wake Forest too.
Yep.
You could argue Kentucky. So here's what I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think Hubert Davis is a great guy.
Mm-hmm.
Everything I've seen about him or read or heard about him, he has got really high character. You could argue what he knew about the whole cheating scandal back when with Roy Williams, or because Roy did know. We all know that. But
Mm-hmm.
it was a matter of how much he knew. I think most of that stuff kind of happened before he got there, but he probably knew some of it.
Yeah.
But regardless,
Mm-hmm.
he's a really good guy, strong Christian guy. I think he will reflect and be a great face for Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
Just high quality, high character guy.
Mm-hmm.
I do not see the resume for him.
No.
Yeah, he has zero head coaching experience.
Yeah.
I think he coached the JV men's basketball team for UNC,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
I don't know of any of it. I think Carolina could have hired anybody they wanted to,
Yeah.
and I guess they did. They believe in Hubert Davis, and honestly, from like a professional, objective perspective, hope he does great for himself and his family.
A lot of the kind of pulling point for him is that he did have a long professional career, and so I know that maybe connecting with recruits wise, he would do very well in the fact that he's been there. He knows more likely what it takes to get there. So maybe that was kind of the big taking point as well. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. I think from a State fan perspective, we feel good, but I mean, it could be a home run hire. So with that being said, so we're going to jump into a segment called Extend or Descend. And basically what that means is, but we're going to go through each of the ACC football coaches, and then we're going to start in order from worst to best that Athlon Sports had the ACC coaches ranked.
So hold on, to make sure everybody's clear.
Yeah.
This is basically, do we extend them or descend them, or do we think these coaches will have their contracts extended in 5 years,
Yep.
or they'll be out of the school in 5 years?
Yep. That's it.
Okay.
Perfect.
Cool.
So first coach they had was Jeff Hafley, now with Boston College. Now I think that he wouldn't be 14th now, but he's 41 years old. Last year, went 6-5 overall, 5-5 of conference, opted out of the bowl game. Took Clemson for a run, Notre Dame for a run. I mean, he was close in every single game. So in my opinion, from everything I've seen, I definitely see an extend for him. I would be shocked
Totally agree.
from seeing the first year if things went the opposite direction for sure.
I think Hafley's going to be there. I think the Boston College under him, at least what we saw off of year one, if they're, he could be the next Justin Fuente, which we can get into later, where he had an amazing first year and really not much ever since. But if he sticks to where he's at right now, he's gonna be a problem for a lot of teams, and one more team potentially to worry about in the Atlantic Division.
Yep. So next coach is Manny Diaz with Miami, and so he's 47 years old, again, still a young coach as well. You know, I think you definitely kind of see the potential with especially having a superstar in Derek King. I think that last year they went 8-3. I think that you definitely need to expect at least an ACC championship appearance this year. And I think if he does do that, I definitely see an extend for him. If he doesn't, then he's borderline. But I still would put him in the extend category for the time
Yep.
being.
I agree. Yeah, the way he did his first year, he basically was on the cusp of being in the ACC Coach of the Year talk. I mean, he was in that talk at least.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, if he were to win an ACC title, let's put it this way: Miami has much higher expectations than Boston College.
For football.
Boston College
Hmm.
is low pressure. You can be there. You can go 7-5, 6-6
Hmm.
your whole career, and you can probably be there for 8 years.
Yeah.
That's what Steve Adazio did. Miami, if you go 7-5 for 5 years, you're out.
Yeah. Easy enough.
So
Yeah.
he 8-3 was a really good first year, especially after Mark Rick didn't have a great year the year before that.
Hmm.
I think he's gonna be there, but it's on condition that he is winning the Coastal Division.
Yeah. I agree.
If he's not winning the Coastal, I think he's gone
I agree.
in 5 years.
I agree. So, and the next one is Geoff Collins with Georgia Tech. So, if I had to predict, I would say if in 5 years, I expect him to be the head coach. Now, do I think
Really?
do I think he'll be there much longer than that? No, but again, I mean, the problem is that he has such a young team. Again, his quarterback is a true freshman, and a lot of his guys are very young guys. So, and they scored points, and he also too
But
had
isn't
to
this his
switch the
second
offense
year? Isn't this
completely.
his second year?
Yes, yeah. So yeah, this second year.
So here's what I think. I think in 5 years, I don't think he's there. I will put it this way. I think Geoff Collins has more work cut out for him to be successful early on
Mhm.
than possibly both of those schools. And the reason why is because of you got to remember how, and I know people do, but some people may have already forgotten how much of the triple offense they ran for years. He's got a very young recruits. I just still remember them beating us out for Jemias Griffin, and that really frustrated me, but he's not really done a whole ton right now. Um, but I think in 5 years, I don't think he's there personally.
And again, it really just does depend how does he do this next year. I think you really need to see at least a bowl game appearance. So we'll see. All right, so now we'll jump into Coach Doeren. He actually had him as number 11.
What?
So yeah, no, and so I mean,
The best coach
as the 11th best coach in ACC before the 2020 season,
behind Fuente.
behind Fuente. Yep, yep. So again, we'll keep it short. I mean, yeah, he'll be here in 5 years. In my
5 years.
he'll be here.
I think he's going to be here in 5 years. Now, I will say this: if he he still can't beat Clemson, and he can't get one win in 5 years over Clemson. If say he goes and he not continue to lose. If say he can't get a win against Carolina for some reason,
Mm-hmm.
I think he might be gone because you got a new AD with Boo Corrigan, and it's not his guy that he hired.
Mm-hmm.
But again, everything has been trending upward with Doeren. Even people may not think he's a great coach because he hasn't gotten the big bunch of big wins, but he's building that foundation for those wins, and I think they're coming very soon. And I think this year you could see some big wins.
So I'll leave it with this. In 2020, there was a prediction that he would go 2-9 in 2020. He went 8-3, and then a loss in the bowl game. So boom. Next is Dino Babers with Syracuse. Yeah.
Again, Dino Babers.
No.
Doeren is
Okay.
Doeren
Yeah.
better than Dino.
Again.
Doeren.
What? And he's 59 years old. He's 10 years older than Doeren. And again, so he highlighted in 2018 by going 10-3, 6-2 in the conference with a win over West Virginia. But then the last 2 years, 2019 went 5-7, and then 1-10 last season. So I mean, definitely not good. Easy decision for me. Yeah, I mean, decent for me. I no way he's here.
He's not going to be here. In fact, he was on the hot seat this year.
Yeah.
Unless something dramatic happens.
Yeah.
It's not happening. I mean, his best player really has been Dungy. I mean, not his best player, but for the program, it was Dungy. And when Dungy left, it's not looked good so far. Maybe if he gets their quarterback, but it's not good. Orange is the new fast. Remember, Leighton.
We'll keep that one simple. So next is Pat Narduzzi, number 9 for Pittsburgh. So I mean, highlighted in 2018, he won the Coastal, went 7, but he only went 7-7 overall in 2018 season. So in my opinion, I would say decent. I think he's going to hit that barrier they can't get over. And so in my opinion, in 5 years.
But I totally agree. I don't think I think, put it this way, I think Narduzzi and Doeren are somewhat on par with each other. I think they're relatively about the same kind of coach. Sorry, I think Narduzzi's probably a really good defensive coordinator, because I know he's a defensive minded coach. I don't know. Put it this way, if he couldn't get it done this past year with the team he had this past year, I don't really see it happening.
That loss to NC State hurt them a lot. Just keep that in mind, Wolfpack fans. That hurt them a lot. So
I don't hate it. I mean, I really appreciate the win.
Yeah. Now, number 8, they had Mike Norville with FSU. But again, this was before he even coached one game at FSU. So again, Macon, I know he didn't even coach one game.
I forgot about these guys.
So
okay. Now, Doeren is better than Mike Norville.
Yes. Now we'll keep this one short as well. He went 3-6 last year, 2-6 at conference, but he in the ACC for 2021 recruiting class, he has a number 4 ACC recruiting class, highlighted by Mackenzie Milton, the UCF transfer. So I would say for now, extend, but that's assuming that it takes off this season. So
I think jury's still out. He did not have a quarterback. James Blackman is not a really good quarterback. No. So he just needs to get his guys in.
Yep.
But I still think, though, it's not a good look, is that Florida State gets 4 or 5-star guys whenever they want to.
Yep.
And it didn't happen for him last year. I'm going to say in 5 years, I don't think he'll be there.
Wow. Bold statement.
I don't think he'll be there. I think the pressure is too high at Florida State. I think the fans are not willing to tamper their expectations to realize they need a rebuild.
Well, that's a complete toss-up. So we'll definitely see what happens with that.
Could go either way, but I'm going to bet he's probably not there.
So this is where they have Justin Fuente from Virginia Tech, number 7. So 44 years old. He's a young coach, young head coach. So the one thing to keep in mind is that he did finish top 3 in the Coastal each year that he's been at Virginia Tech, except for last year. So, which again doesn't say a whole lot, but it just shows that again he's at least competing for an ACC championship appearance every single year. So, got to get him on that. Now, again, last year was plagued by COVID and all that jazz. So, I don't feel like you can really hold last year on him too much. So, and for me, I would say extend for now, just based on how he's competing every single year for an ACC championship appearance. Can't be too upset about that.
My answer, I don't think he's there in 5 years.
Wow.
I know people who see him around at a golf club down there in Blacksburg. And just when they're around him, that people who are in the know and been around him, they say he comes across like he kind of really is checked out mentally. Like he's just not, I don't say he's not there or he doesn't care, but it's not like it was year one.
Yeah.
And people got to remember, Virginia Tech had a mass exodus about a year or two ago of recruits out of Virginia Tech. Players, commits, everybody just wanted a lot of players were leaving. And people were like, what in the world is going on at Virginia Tech? I think it was a kind of like what they call like a come to Jesus moment. I think he had, I don't know how the details worked out, but I think it was basically, we need to have a culture change in our program. A lot of those guys were still Frank Beamer guys.
Yep.
If you don't like the way that we're going to be moving forward this program, I don't know if there's, I don't know how that conversation worked out, but it's kind of like, I don't know if there's a place for you or we're not going to, is it this maybe somewhere else is better for you kind of thing.
Yep.
They had a lot of players leave. And I don't think people also realize how high the pressure is in Blacksburg football.
Sure.
I mean, that is what they live for in Blacksburg is football season. And it's in the middle of nowhere. If anybody's been in Blacksburg, it's close to Roanoke and that's about it. So I think he's gone. I'm going to say actually in the next year or two, I think he's gone.
Wow. That's a bold statement. So, all right. So next is they had Scott Satterfield with Louisville. Yeah, I mean, so 2019 went 8-5, 5-3 in the conference. But last year he went 4-7 and 3-6 in the conference. Now, the one thing which I will say is, so I did see, so every single loss that they had in 2020 was by 14 points or less. So just basically saying that they didn't get blown out a single game. They were competitive every single game.
Less or less. Yeah.
40 points or
Okay.
less. So I mean, that's a tip in the cap for sure to them. So I just think maybe it's just about maybe the maturity of the team. At the end of the day, when you're in a game like that, it comes down to maturity of a team. Who's going to want it more and who's going to play harder to win. So for me, I would be the one that actually might say decent. I might actually be kind of off the Scott Satterfield train a little bit now. He is young. I mean, he's still a young coach, 48 years old. But I don't know. I'm not sold on him yet.
Yeah, I think it's a good call. In 5 years,
Mm-hmm.
I could see him not being there. I could see him. I mean, he came from App State,
Yep.
dominated mid majors.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it could be kind of like like in basketball. It could be like a Kevin Keats. Kevin Keats hasn't done great,
Mm-hmm.
but he did really good in mid majors. Shaka Smart, really, really good at VCU. Took him to a Final Four. Texas, he didn't do anything.
Yep.
Except this season we're just finishing up, and now he's left Texas to go to Marquette because again, lower pressure job. So I think he's not there anymore. I think in 5 years, I think what's going to happen. Actually, I think he's gonna have another decent season.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I think he leaves. I think he leaves.
Wow.
He may not. Maybe he doesn't.
Yeah.
I don't know. He's not.
Yeah.
I don't know of a better job that's going to come calling
Sure.
than
And they see.
Louisville for Scott Satterfield.
Yep.
But I think in the next 5 years, I don't think he's there.
So next one is Dave Clawson, Wake Forest. Now this one for me is as simple as he's there for as long as he wants to be there. Period.
Yeah.
That's like we're going to keep this one simple. As long as he wants to be at Wake Forest, as long as he doesn't get for no job, he's going to be there. Period. Straightforward.
Anybody who wants to coach at Wake Forest and is winning and putting players in the NFL,
Mm-hmm.
they got a job as long as they want to, pretty much.
Going to bowl games. I mean, because
it's Wake Forest football.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So because literally from 2016, 2019, he finished with at least 7 wins and a bowl game every single season. So boom. Like we're just going to move on from that. Yeah.
Let me for state fans. I think Doeren is probably
Mm-hmm.
in the middle tier coaches in the ACC. I think he's probably coached between number 6 and 9.
Mm-hmm.
So Dave Clawson, he gets the most out of players. He gets 2 and 3 star guys all the time. Now he's starting to get 4-star guys a little bit, but it's because he's done so much with so little.
That's right.
And
in terms of program support, yeah.
And then when you can get a guy, I mean, when you can get guys in who also have to recruit against the Wake Forest academic qualifications, kind of like with Duke, which I know David Cutcliffe's coming in this conversation. That's hard to do. I mean, I know Duke, Wake Forest, those are really high quality schools. So you got to have all that, plus be able to perform athletically. And he doesn't have that a lot. So he gets the most. Yeah. Clawson's there for as long as he wants to be.
Yep. Next is Bronco Mendenhall from Virginia. Yeah. So, yeah, that's who they had. Not kidding. So, so here's the thing. So from 2016, they went 2-10 and 1-7 in conference. 2019, they went 9-5, 6-2 in conference, and a loss to Florida in the Orange Bowl in 36-28. So, I mean, the jump has been drastic. I mean, for sure. I mean, I think that nobody was really talking about Virginia before he got there, but now people are talking about Virginia.
Bronco Mendenhall, Virginia. I think he's there in 5 years.
Yeah.
Virginia's low pressure.
Yeah.
And
extend for sure.
Anywhere near competing for Coastal like he did 2 seasons ago, I think he's earned his time.
Yep, for sure. So we'll keep that one easy and simple. So and now we're going to kind of get to the easier part. So David Cutcliffe at Duke at number 3. So he's 66 years old. I mean,
it could be a toss-up.
Again, I mean,
I'm joking. I'm totally joking.
Well, he's 74 and 88 at Duke, 35 and 71 in the ACC at Duke.
35 and 71 at Duke
in the ACC.
Yeah.
Again, it's kind of one.
It's kind of the Wake Forest thing.
Yeah. However long he's going to be there. Again, it's a tough sell because Duke is never going to put the money in for them to compete at the top of the ACC. It's not going to happen anytime soon. So it's simple as that. So jumping to Mac Brown, UNC. I mean, again, he's for this as simple as it. However, if he's here and he hasn't retired in 5 years, he'll be at Carolina. But it's really for me come down to when does he retire? That's as simple as that for me.
Do I think he's a dynamic coach? Every Carolina fan that I meet is like in love with Mac Brown. No.
He's a great transition coach for.
I still think it's one of the weirdest things seeing them flying around the Texas National Championship trophy with UNC recruits
Yeah,
and get like Carolina won the thing.
yeah,
But yeah, I totally agree. I think he's probably, yeah, I think Mac Brown's maybe a slightly better coach or on par with Dave Doeren. I think he's probably a better coach.
yeah. For now,
I do
but
for now.
but do I think Doran has the capabilities to I mean to eventually pass that point? Oh, absolutely. I mean,
I
he's
think
still young.
I think Mac Brown. I think he's still riding a little bit of the hype.
Oh, for sure.
And he's done well, and that's to his credit. And you have to be a good coach to get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
But do I think? Yeah, I think he's going to be there as the next 5 years. So that's my bottom line.
Mm-hmm.
If he retires before then
Mm-hmm.
great. But again, I respect him a heck of a lot more than I respect Fedora. Heck of a lot more. He intimidates me way more. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, I think he's there for the next 5 years
Well,
or after.
well, and especially too. I mean, the fact that he had last year two of the top four draft picks or draft choices in terms of running back for this upcoming draft is insane. That's crazy to think about. So yeah, definitely. However long that he wants to be there, he'll be there. Last one, yep. Dabo Swinney, Clemson, sign him to a lifelong contract. Seriously, I mean, like what they did, what
with Bill Self just recently,
yeah.
sign him to a rolling year contract as long as you
Forever.
want him there and he will be there.
And again, the scary thing is he's only 51 years old. He could easily be there for another 15, 20 years, easily.
Yeah,
and
really sucks.
And
now I'll say this: there are talks. What I've been reading on different things are that there's a lot of these coaches now that are pushing now that John Spofford's out to get to push for no divisions in the college football and ACC.
Mm-hmm.
So if that would be the case, that would be such great news for NC State.
Yeah.
Because that would not mean we have to play Dabo Swinney, who is the best coach in the ACC, and everybody knows it.
Mm-hmm.
So, or maybe he's the best coach with. He's the best package. He's got the coaching. He's got the money invested into Clemson. He can get the recruits.
Mm-hmm.
He can sell it all. He can sell getting into the pros and having pros succeed. It's just a pipeline to NFL at Clemson right now. So yep. I really hope we get rid of the divisions for more than just not having to play Dabo anymore, not as much,
mm-hmm.
but to play other teams like some of the other teams we've mentioned, Bronco Mendenhall. Duke, again, people always say there's no reason State should not be playing Duke at least every other year in football because they're right there. It's just silly. It's just silly. And we play Carolina every year because we're the rivalry game. But
mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hope they get rid of the divisions because playing guys like Dabo Swinney every single year,
mm-hmm.
That's or Jimbo Fisher when he was at Florida State.
Mm-hmm.
But those are really, really tough. So yeah, Clemson, Dabo Swinney, he's staying there as long as he wants to.
Easy enough. So with that being said, guys, we'll go ahead and jump into our interview with Deshaywn Middleton. Hope you all enjoy. What's going on, everybody? Thank you all so much for tuning in. We got Deshaywn Middleton here with us, former defensive tackle for NC State. Deshaywn, what's going on? Hope you're doing well.
Man, what's up, man? Appreciate y'all having me, man. It's a true honor to be a guest, man. How y'all doing?
Yeah, doing beautifully.
Good, man. Doing good, man.
Yeah, thanks for asking, man. So just wanted to kind of first off, so what kind of, if you wouldn't mind just kind of first off by saying, kind of what took you to NC State and, just kind of get a little bit of the insight in terms of, what got you to NC State in the first place.
Yeah, man, for sure, man. So, I had a couple of offers on the table, but it mostly came down to ECU and NC State. And I remember, just calling up Coach Doeren, telling him, hey, man, I just want to come and run with the pack. Something that really drew me to the pack was really Ryan Nielson. He was our defensive line coach at the time. And I knew in order for myself to elevate as a player and the knowledge that he was the proper coach for me. He was mentally tough on us, but he taught the game the proper way. He taught us to enjoy it, but also different techniques that I still teach things now. So, and then of course the guys all around, like you said, like Contavious Street, Tyler Jones, Riley Chubb, Jalen, Bo, Garrett Bradbury, BJ Hill, Jermaine Pratt. So you know, Big T. You know, the list goes on and on. You know, what I'm saying Deontay Holden, like, you know, it just goes. The list just goes on and on with the guys that, you know, we not only created like a bond but a family, man. So, you know, Pat
Yeah.
14 was definitely different, as everyone knows. You know, it's definitely a blessing to be part of that class.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome, dude. That's awesome. So, you said about Nielson. What was it? What was it? He said he made an impression on you. Can you elaborate on that? What was it that he really what was the
And
impact that he
so
made on you?
like, so I actually remember, you know, so I actually remember it was also unofficial, and my official was like kind of the two things. Well, actually, it was three things. So, my senior year, I had got hurt, and I was unable to, you know, play the rest of my senior year. So instead of him coming to like a football game, like, you know, normal coaches do to recruit you, he ended up just coming even through my knee injury and everything. He ended up coming through to one of my basketball games and kind of seeing me play. Actually, we ended up winning that game, and then
Hmm.
you know, when we went up there, it was always like a way to, even though like I wasn't coming, or, you know, even though he knew that I wasn't, you know, fully committed or anything like that, it was just the way that, like, you know, he treated me, and he always, like, you know, taught me something new. It was like, all right, cool, like,
That's
this is how
cool.
you can elevate your game even more. To
Yeah.
like, even from the field to the drawing board, like, just his lingo, his language was definitely completely different. So, it's the same things that I use now. So, I
Yeah.
mean, he's an incredible guy. I can't say anything bad about him, man. He's definitely someone that I definitely look up to when it comes to the football world.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think for those state fans who don't remember, and actually, we're actually going to add a link down below to one of his mic dubs because he is one of the
He's
most
just fired up,
in
man. He's fired
he's
up.
one of the most entertaining coaches to watch. I mean, his just, you know, mentality. I mean, like, I still remember, you know, him like doing like the speech where, like, you know, he got you guys like put your hands out in front of you and like rotate and like, okay, where do you feel it? You know, in the lats. And then like it's like, oh my gosh, like who thinks
What?
about that? Like, you know, like
What?
that's such a like small, you know, thing that you don't even think about. It's crazy stuff. So yeah, so and then I mean you know, kind of going across, you know, so one of the things that, you know, really stood out to me, obviously, you know, I know that, you know, basically you spent your time, you know, with, you know, the practice squad, you know, kind of worked your way, you know, trying to get onto the starting lineup. So, but obviously it just happened to be that you just, you know, were in a group that was so strong again with Justin Jones, BJ Hill, and those guys. And then, so you ended up going a different route and transferring to Norfolk State. So, I mean, how tough was it of a decision to you know kind of move on? And I mean, you know, what was kind of the deciding point, you know, to decide to transfer really?
Really, man, I'm gonna be real with you, man. You know, I don't regret anything I ever done in my life, man. But I definitely, it was real tough. It was definitely real tough to just leave those group of friends. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, we had created a bond over those 2 years, if we were playing or not, you know, on and off the field. Those guys, you know, pushed me even when I did leave. Those guys fully supported me and came out. So, it was real hard to kind of make the decision to actually even want to leave. You know, after a conversation with Coach Doeren at the time, we just felt as if it was best for me just to go ahead and mutually go ahead and move on and get going, man. Because, you know, like, guys, but yeah, at the same time, I felt as if like I definitely could have played in the Chiefs. So, it was just the deciding factor for me just to go ahead and go was really just to play. I felt as if I was confident enough in myself, and I had gained that knowledge from my coach. So, I took what Coach Nielson had instilled in me, and I was like, well, take a leap of faith. So, you know, God, I allowed God to just guide me through it.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. One of the memories I have of Contavious that I don't. Maybe I'll forget someday, but I don't think I will right late recently. Is that play? I can't remember which game it was. He sacked somebody, and he was so fired up for the sack on the field. He runs to the end zone, takes his helmet off, and is like just going at it
Yeah.
with our fans and fired up. But everybody's like, "What the heck is he doing?" That was
Man,
awesome.
yeah, man. Man. That was awesome, man. I actually remember watching that game and seeing that. You know what I'm saying? That was his first sack. That was his first sack. So, Like
Yeah.
I said, like he made sure that people knew.
That was
His presence,
awesome.
man, that was great, man. I was very excited for my guy.
I think Doeren was mad at him because I think it cost him some yards, but either way, it was awesome.
Well,
Man, it
That
was,
was
hey,
awesome.
man, it was worth the whole moment, man. It was definitely worth the whole moment.
yeah.
Yeah. So Deshaywn, real quick, man, let me ask you, what are you, for people who don't know, what are you doing now in life, man? Where you, what's what are you doing now besides football?
Oh man, so after football and after I got my degree, I got a chance to go to the CFL for Montreal Alouettes. And
Really, that's
I spent
awesome.
some time out there. But now mostly what I do, I'm a behavior specialist, crisis counselor for Alexander Youth Network. So basically, I work with troubling youth, and I help them, change their lives. Like they go from a facility to things, and I help them with their behavior, with their anger, give them different coping skills, different social work ethics, man. So I do that on top of coaching defensive line coach at East Mecklenburg High School here in Charlotte, North Carolina. I'm a vice president of Dream the Impossible. Um, pretty much my brother, I'm the VP, he's the president, and then also I'm still in school to get my master's right now, get my master's in social work at Winthrop University. So I try to keep myself a little
That's
busy,
awesome,
you know
dude.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's cool, dude. It bet on the field and off the field, man. It's not just about football, man. It's about life after football too. So
And if you kind of had to take a look back at team, I mean, like, obviously most of the Pac-14 classes, a lot of them are in the NFL right now, with the whole defensive line with Jay Sam doing work, Pratt doing work with the Bengals.
Hines.
Like, is there one player in that class that maybe from your opinion, from being actually in the locker room with the guys, seeing them practicing, that maybe is underrated, that maybe state fans, need to talk more about besides, the obvious guys of Chubb and the Pratts and the Jay Sams,
Um, a couple of guys is a part of that Pac 14, man. Um, he definitely on Deontay Holden. Like he's
I
a
knew you were
guy.
gonna go there. I knew you
Um,
were gonna go there, man. That's a good
yeah,
pick.
man. He's like I said, man. He's one of my guys, man. One of my close friends, even to this day, man. And a lot of people, I don't think a lot of people understand his story and how he came along, man. Like if he, what I'm saying, if adversity didn't get him, what I'm saying, just to see how he handled it and see how he came back, man. The guy not only excelled on the field, but he excelled in the classroom, man. The guy left being an NFLPA invite, man. You know what I'm saying? To having 3 sacks in that game, like his senior year was incredible for him to beat adversity, beat those injuries, and come back and still be successful now. To this day, he's playing in the CFL and he's still getting his shot, man. Like he's going to be a force to be reckoned with, man. I definitely think that Wolfpack should definitely get ready because he's definitely Pac 14 and he's about to come in storming. He's definitely about to come in storming. He's going to light it. He's going to light it up.
Yeah.
He's about to
Okay.
light it up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, basically what I was getting at. So I mean, I know obviously with you playing defense, I know you probably just like with a lot of people who play a certain position in the sport, usually typically watch that position more than the others. So I know that I'm sure you probably have checked out a couple of state games here and there, especially last year due to with the COVID. So obviously Liam McNeil. I mean, that's a guy that I know anybody can easily start talking about. But I mean, like, so between like Savion Jackson, CJ Clark, any of those guys, Dino Joseph, were there any guys particular that stood out to you besides the obvious choice of Liam McNeil?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he would definitely be one of my obvious choices.
Yeah.
We spoke a couple of times here and there, so
Mhm.
I actually got a chance to get to know him a little bit.
Cool.
But I'll definitely say I have to make sure I got his name. But I think Stevie in number 90,
Yep.
the
Savion
defensive
Jackson.
end.
Savion
Yeah,
Jackson.
yeah. He's going to be a guy who's going to. I think this might be his year just to kind of come in and emerge more into his role now that
I agree.
what I'm saying, he's the next guy up. I think
Dor-
that his
Doeren
skill
just
and his
said Doeren
timing.
just said he's at 300 pounds now playing defensive end.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So he's a big guy, but he's a big guy who can move. So I think that he's one of the guys that's going to step out and kind of see for that defensive line. Um, I definitely can see him kind of running in the line of those who came before him. So I mean, hey, I wish him nothing but luck. Best of luck.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's cool.
So yeah, and I mean, obviously, I mean, Savion Jackson is a guy I think all of us are really kind of pinpointing as kind of, an obvious choice of a breakout player this season. And so, I mean, in terms of, expectations, I mean, obviously, Doeren has kind of slowly but surely been, increasing his win total. Obviously, got 9 wins, two out of the last 4 years and 8 wins last year. So, I mean, anything that state fans should keep in mind, for next season in terms of expectations. I mean, do you feel that? I mean, we were right on that brink of that 10-win ACC title contending year.
Yeah, I think that, what I'm saying, throughout the years, Coach Doeren has been a guy who's always going to bring in the right coaches for particular times. I was able to get coached by a couple like Leffert, Drinkwich, Nielson. So it's definitely, he brings in the right guys. I would definitely say this year, especially going into next year, now that they have like actually like played like a full ACC schedule, them actually breaking the most wins in ACC history for AC for Wolfpack. I think now, like mentally going into next year, they know that they can dominate. They know that they can go in there and actually win. It's like the expectation is held higher now. It's like, okay, now we have pretty much ran with everyone. Now it's time for us to run the table. So I'll definitely tell Wolfpack Nation, man, just be ready for a heck of a season. Be ready for a heck of a season because those guys are definitely going to come out hungry, like a pack of wolves, ready to take over. So I expect nothing less than ACC championship. If we can do what we need to do against those teams, then we'll make it happen. So I definitely think that it's going to be showtime. It's definitely going to be showtime.
So last question, which is kind of a fun question here. So favorite NC State uniform?
Yeah, I'm going with the all black, man.
I'm
actually mad. From Thursday night,
the Louisville,
when they played against Louisville
with the chrome stripes, the chrome stripes on top. Yeah,
and those. I'm not gonna lie. I wanted that jersey bad, man. I wanted that jersey bad. That one was, that whole uniform is insane.
It's something to keep in mind. Hey, when Country and Doeren or them are pitching to Adidas, hey, maybe just stay in this line. Everybody seems to love this one. So cool.
Exactly. And I know Country's gonna get it right for those boys, man. Yep. No, I know he has something to do with that design. So yeah, man, it's incredible, man.
Yeah, and for those state fans who for some reason don't know who Country is, Terry Callaway, nicknamed Country, he's the head football equipment manager. Great guy, and there's a couple of different videos of him doing interviews and like talking about like the first black uniform back in 2014 under Doeren, and so he's hilarious, and he was even a part of the You Don't Know Jack episodes. So just throw back there. Definitely go check out those.
You Don't Know Jack, man. That's classic.
You Don't Know Jack. Yes, great times. So with that being said, Sean, I know that again you're part of a couple of different programs and all that. So didn't know we want to give you the chance to kind of send a tag out to in-state fans of kind of how to support and support you guys in this effort towards mental illness.
Yeah, man. Definitely. I want to give a shout out to Dream the Impossible. You can always donate or even contact us through our IG, Dream the Impossible, or dreamtheimpossible.org. There's plenty of ways to donate through the website, through Instagram. We're always, just out here, just want to break the stigma of mental health in the community to let people know that you're not alone, and it's okay to feel like you need help or feel like you're not alone. Anytime that we can be of help, please reach out to us and contact us. Our job is to give back to the community. Our job is to make sure that people know that, your life is worth living. And that knowing that like we are all here for a reason and, you'll be allowed to see and to go forward in your program. So that's why I definitely say, man, Dream the Impossible is definitely where it's at. So make sure you guys get at us.
Yeah. No, that's awesome, dude. Definitely, hats off to the work you and your brother are doing, and definitely, Wolfpack Nation, definitely go support them and do all you can to, towards this, great cause. So thank you so much for that. Well, thank you so much again, Sean, for tuning in, man. Really appreciate your time, and stay safe. And we'll look forward to seeing you at many more NC State games, hopefully in the near future.
Oh yeah, man, most definitely, man. I'm sure that I'll catch a couple this year.
Yeah, looking forward to it, man. Thanks again.
Most definitely, man. Go Pack.
All right, Wolfpack Nation. Hope y'all enjoyed that interview with Deshaywn Middleton. Again, thank you all so much again for tuning in. Please make sure to subscribe to us by hitting the button in the bottom right-hand corner. Please follow us at Tuffy Talk Now on Twitter and Instagram. And please like this video and check out other content. And with that being said, we'll see y'all next week. Thank you so much again, and stay safe. Go Pack.